So this is unit 7.2 of money market, and in this unit we will be covering the topic of fixed deposit. So what is a fixed deposit? It is a deposit placed with a bank, for an agreed length of time. So fixed deposit is a type of loan, only the differences of the terminology. So if you are borrowing money from a bank, or a corporation is borrowing money from a bank, it is called a loan. But if the bank is borrowing money from the corporation or from you in the form of you depositing money, then that is called a fixed deposit. So if you deposit money in a bank in the form of fixed deposit, you are actually giving loan to the bank, and the bank is going to use that money to provide loans to other people. So it is also known as a term deposit, time deposit, or clean deposit. One very important characteristic of a fixed deposit is that it is not negotiable. That means that you cannot sell it to somebody else if you require the money before the fixed deposit matures. You will then have to break the deposit with the bank, and for that there will be a penalty will be charged. So again, you cannot sell this fixed deposit to anybody else if you require urgent money. Term can be from 1 day to several years, but it is usually less than 1 year, and interest is usually paid at maturity or semi-annually or yearly even. So that would mean that if, for example, there is a 19-month deposit, then interest would generally be paid at the end of 1 year and then at maturity once again. To earn profit from dealing, the dealer's objective is to borrow at a lower interest rate and lend at a higher interest rate. This is how banks earn profit. So if the bank is taking the fixed deposit, they will have to pay interest on the fixed deposit. So they will pay a lower interest rate on the fixed deposit, and the money that they get from the fixed deposit, they're going to loan that money to other people at higher interest rate. The difference will be the profit for the bank. Now let's look at some calculations. So if you want to calculate, okay, wait. So if you want to calculate the interest earned, it will be the principal amount multiplied by the interest rate times days over year. And if you want to calculate the maturity proceeds of the fixed deposit, it will be principal times 1 plus interest rate times days over year. So these are the same, exactly the same formulas that you have just learned as well. So now let's look at an example. So dealer takes a fixed deposit of euro 5 million from a customer for 73 days at 4.63%. What does he pay at maturity? I'll give you a moment to try this on your own, and then I'll show you the solution. So you need to calculate the maturity proceeds. So for that, you're going to use the maturity proceeds formula. The principal amount is 5 million. So you'll have 5 million. The interest rate is 4.63%, so 0.0463. Days are 73 days, and years. Now, what should be the years? Since this is EUR, it's going to be 360. So you get 5046943.06. These are the maturity proceeds. If you're going to buy this fixed deposit You are going to place 5 million, and when this fixed deposit matures, you will get this amount in return. Now, this was simple. What about if you're breaking a deposit? So, if you're going to withdraw money before the maturity time. So, the first scenario was in which you were going to keep the deposit till it matured. But what if you require the money urgently and then you break the deposit? So, how much amount are you going to get in that case? You can actually calculate the amount based on these three steps. So number one is calculate the amount, principal plus interest, which it would have expected to repay on the normal maturity date of the deposit. So the first step is to calculate the maturity proceeds as you do the calculation. Then the second step is calculate how much the bank will need to borrow at the current market rates from now until that original maturity date in order to repay the same amount as originally expected. So now the bank has already given that amount to somebody else in the form of loan. So the bank is going to re-borrow an amount in order to pay you back your fixed deposit. So the bank is going to do the calculation. They're going to see at what rate can they borrow the money now in order to return you the fixed deposit amount. If the bank repays this amount to the depositor, it will be neither losing nor gaining. So it will be a win-win situation. So now let's look at an example. So a customer places a deposit of British pound 1 million with you at 5.12% for 183 days. After 30 days, the customer asks to break the deposit, and the interest rate at that time is 6.04% for 153 days. Your bank normally funds itself at LIBOR plus 10 basis points if you agree to break the deposit. How much cash might you agree to return to your customer? So the first part is to calculate the normal maturity proceeds. So you deposit GBP 1 million with you at 5.12% for 183 days. Now, ignoring the fact that you're going to break the deposit, let's first calculate the maturity proceeds if you had not broken the deposit. So that is going to be, so the maturity proceeds will be 1000 multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate, which is 5.12%, times 183, and you're going to use 365 now because it is British pound. Bracket close, and so the maturity proceeds will be 1025 670.14. So if you do not break the deposit, this is the amount that you will get. Now, what basically you're going to do is you're going to calculate the present value for this amount. So let me make a timeline for you. So at 0, you deposited 1 million, and after 183 days, 183 days, you were supposed to get 1025670.14, but you're going to break the deposit after 33 days. Now there are 153 days from 30 till 183, so these are the number of days over here. You need to, because you're breaking it at the 30th day, this is where the bank will have to borrow the money. So you need to calculate the present value of this amount at this point. And you're going to discount this value at the 6.04% plus the 10 basis point rate. Again, I'll repeat this. The bank is supposed to take a loan over here because you're going to break the deposit over here. Now, what amount of loan should the bank take so that they're gaining nothing and they're losing nothing? For that, what they're going to do is they're going to take the value which they were supposed to pay to you in 183 days and calculate the present value of that amount according to today's date based on the rate at which they will have to borrow now, which is going to be 6.04% plus 10 basis points. Now, what exactly is basis point? Basis point means 1 basis point means 0.01%. it is actually a 1/100th of 1%. And if you write in decimal, that means 0.0001. So 10 basis point means 10 divided by 4 decimal places, right? So this means 4 decimal places. So 0.001, and you will convert it into a percentage. So multiply this by 100. That means 0.1%. This is what 10 basis point means, because this is 1 basis point. So divided by 10,000 and then multiplied by 100, or simply just convert this to 0.1%. So that means 6.04% plus 0.1%, because 10 basis point means this. So 6.14%. Now let's calculate the present value. So the formula to calculate present value is future value 1 plus r multiplied by, okay, so r multiplied by the days by year. So the value that you want to calculate are the maturity proceeds, which are 1025670.14. The rate that you will use is the rate at which the bank will borrow now. So that is 0.0614 multiplied by, it's going to be for 153 days, and divided by 365. So you get 9999.30. This is the amount that they will have to borrow and return to you. So let's make a timeline once again. 0, 30, and you had 183. So if you would have not broken the deposit, you would have gone 1025670.14. But since you have broken the deposit and you want the amount 30 days later, you will get an amount of 999.30. Sorry, one more 9.30 back, even though you had deposited an amount of 1,000. So you can see that there is a penalty on you because you have broken the deposit. The bank is going to borrow this much amount and give you back this much amount, so that the bank does not lose anything.